Example number 3. So it's factorize 5p squared minus 5q cubed plus 5. In this expression, we can all see that the first term is 5p squared. The second term is minus 5q raised to the power 3. And the final term or the last term is plus 5 or positive 5. Now, if we check the common factor or the highest common factor will be 5. So then we'll factorize 5 out. We open and then we close the bracket. Now let's take the terms one after the other and divide it by 5. So we take the first term, which is 5p squared. We divide it by the common factor, which is 5. 5 cancels itself to be 1, and 5 cancels 5, remaining with p squared. So we put p squared. The next term is minus 5q raised to the power 3. Minus 5q raised to the power 3. We will divide it by the common factor, which is 5. So divided by 5. Now 5 into itself is 1. And 5 into minus 5 is minus 1. So if you check, the numerator side will remain with minus q cube. That is to say minus 1q cube. So we write minus q cube. The final term is 5. So we have 5. That we divide it by the common factor, which is 5. So 5 divided by 5. 5 here 1, 5 here 1. The answer will be 1. So we'll write positive 1, which is plus 1. Now, if you scan your eye through this question, you realize that even without going through this approach, you can just say 5p squared divided by 5. 5 will cancel 5, remaining with p squared, which is here. Minus 5q cube divided by the common factor 5. 5 will divide 5, remaining with minus q cube, which is minus q cube here. Then finally, positive 5 divided by 5 will give us 1. So finally, this is our answer, which is 5 into bracket p squared minus q raised to the power 3 plus 1. Question number 4, which says factorize 8xy plus 4m. Still, we have two terms in this particular question. Now, you realize that 8 and 4 are not common by appearance, but they'll be common by something we call multiple. If you check 8 and 4, 4 in its multiple can produce 8. So then we say 4 can go into 8. So 4 becomes a factor of 8. From the beginning, we saw how to get the common factors and which one becomes the highest common factor. If you check the factors of 8, we get 1, 2, 4, and 8 as the factors of 8. Then when you check the factors of 4, we have 1, 2, and 4 as the factors of 4. Now, if you scan through the factors of the two numbers, you realize that 4 becomes the highest common factor. So then we factorize 4 out. We bring 4 out of the bracket. Now we go through the same stage. The first term, which is 8xy divided by 4. So 8xy all over 4, which is divided by 4. Now 4 goes here 1, and then 4 goes into 8, which is 2. So the numerator will remain with 2xy. So we have 2xy becoming the 10. So we'll put 2xy here. Now let's go to the next term, which is 4m. So 4m will be divided by the common factor, which is 4, divided by 4. So 4 goes here 1, 4 goes here 1, remaining with m. So we will put m back there, which is positive m. So plus m. Finally, you realize that 4 into bracket 2xy plus m becomes our answer for this question. In this question, which is question number 5, it says factorize 7ab minus 14zy. Now, if you check the terms in the expression, 7ab is our first term, and then minus 14zy becomes the second term. 7 will be our common factor. Why? Because if you check the factors of 7, which is 1 and 7, and then the factors of 14, you realize that 7 becomes the highest common factor. So 7 is our common factor. We open and close the bracket. The variables do not have any factor. That is why we don't consider the variable. But in the next video, we'll consider variables. So 7 will now divide 7ab. So the term 7ab divided by the common factor 7. 7 into itself is 1. And 7 here is 1. So remaining with ab. So we will replace ab here. which is to say 7ab divided by 7. 7 into 7, remember ab. Now let's go to the next term, which is minus 14zy. Now divided by 7, which is a common factor. Now 7 into itself is 1, and 7 into minus 14 is minus 2. So we will get minus 2zy, which is minus 2zy, as our final answer. So we replace this there, making it minus 2zy. Now if you take a look at this, minus 14 divided by 7 is minus 2. Then zy will be replaced because nothing will cancel the zy. So hence our final answer becomes 7 into bracket ab minus 2zy. Question number 6 says factorize 6m squared minus 8m. The first term is 6m squared and the second term is minus 8m. If you check the number 6 and the number 8, the only common factor that we have being the highest common factor will be 2. Why? Because 2 can go into 6 and still 2 can go into 8. Or if you check the common factors for 6, you have 2 in there, and the common factors of 8, you have 2. But 2 will be their highest common factor. So 2 will come out. Open and close the bracket. Now 2 into 6m squared, which is to say 6m squared divided by 2. 2 here 1. 2 into 6 is 3. So 3m squared becomes our final answer. We put the 3m squared here, so 3m squared. Now we take minus 8n that we divided by the common factor, which is 2. Minus 8n divided by 2. 2 here 1. 2 into 8 is 4. So we end up getting minus 4n as our common number. So minus 4n, which is the final answer. We put it here, minus 4n. This means that 6m squared divided by 2 is 3m squared. And minus 8n divided by 2 is minus 4n. So our final answer will become 2 into bracket 3m squared minus 4n. Number 7 says that factorize 21u minus 81v squared. Now if you check the expression on the board, the terms here are 21u and minus 81v squared. From here, 21 and 81, we can get a common factor of 3. When you check the multiples of 21 and then the multiples of 81, the factors in there, the highest of the common factor will be 3. So we'll bring 3 out and use it to factorize the two terms. So let's take the first term, 21u divided by 3. 21u divided by 3. 3 into itself is 1. 3 into 21 will be 7. So we end up getting 7u as a final answer. But 7u will be placed here. Then we have the next term as minus 81v squared divided by the common factor, which is 3. Now 3 into itself is 1. And 3 into minus 81 will become minus 27. Now, if you check the one at the numerator side, we have minus 27v squared as the final expression for this. So we bring it here to be minus 27v squared. So in effect, once 3 has been factorized out, it goes into 21u as 7u. And it goes into minus 81v squared as minus 27v squared. Finally, we can conclude that 3 into brackets 7u minus 27v is our final answer. Let's take a look at question number 8, which says factorize x cubed minus x squared. Finally, we are at the all variable expression factorization. If you check the question, you realize that the variable here is x cubed and that one here is x squared. Now we have to factorize a common factor for the two variables. In terms of variables, please check the one with the highest power. If the variables are the same, we have x cubed and we have x squared, all having x. So we will rather factorize x squared. Since that has the highest power, it is qualified to be our highest common factor. So we have x squared out. Now when you are done, you then take the terms one after the other and divide it by the highest common factor. So we take x cubed, then we divide it by the x squared, which is the common factor. Now x squared into itself is 1, and then x cubed here, x. So we will get x. Then we will place it here. So we get x. Now we take minus x squared. So we have minus x squared. Then we divide it by the highest common factor, which is x squared. Now x squared into itself is 1, and x squared into minus x squared is minus 1. So we have minus 1 as our answer. So we bring the minus 1 here. So finally, you realize that this question under the factorization will have an answer of x squared into bracket x minus 1. Number 9 says factorize 3a squared plus 2a cubed minus a. If you check all the terms here, the numbers or the coefficients do not have a common factor. The only common factor will be 1. But look at the variables. We have a squared, a cubed, and minus a. We can get the one with the least power, which is the a. So we bring the a out, which become a out of the bracket. Now, 3a squared will be divided by the common factor a. So a here, 1, a into a squared is a. So we have 3a as our answer. Then we'll put it here, 3a. Then we take the second term, which is 2a cubed. 2a cubed. And we divide it by the common factor a, divided by a. So a into itself is 1. A into a cubed will give us a squared. So the answer will now be 2a squared. So then we replace it with a positive 2a squared. We take the final number, which is minus a. Then we divide it with the common factor, which is a. Now a here 1, a into minus a will be minus 1. So we have finally the answer becoming minus 1. Then we replace here with minus 1. So if you check, after factorizing a out, 3a squared divided by a will give us 3a. 2a cubed divided by a will give us 2a squared. And minus a divided by a will give us minus 1. So this becomes our final answer. Question number 10 says, factorize 5x squared y plus 2x cubed y power 4. If you take a look at this expression, the terms in there, we have 5 as the coefficient of the first term and 2 as the coefficient of the second term. If you consider 5 and 2, we don't have a common factor for 5 and 2 since 1 is a factor. And in this situation, we can write the 1. So let's move on to the next variable, which is x squared. X squared is in the first term and x cubed is in the second term. Now the common factor or the highest common factor for the x in the first and second term will be x squared. Since x squared has the least power, we will factorize x squared out. So x squared. Now, considering the y, we realize that y is in the first term and y raised to the power 4 in the second term. The highest common factor for the y will be the y in the first term since y has the least power. We will factorize y out. Open and close the bracket. If you take the first term, we will divide it by the common factor. So the first term is 5x squared y divided by the common factor, which is x squared y. Now x squared into itself is 1. And x squared into x squared is still 1. Y into itself is 1. And then y into itself again is 1. So if you check the cancellation here, we have 5 remaining. So the answer for this particular division will be 5. We transfer the 5 to the question. Now let's go to the next term, which is 2x cubed y raised to the power 4. So 2x cubed y raised to the power 4. We'll divide it by the common factor, which is x squared y. X squared y. Now x squared will cancel itself 1 and cancel x cubed x. Then y will cancel itself 1 and cancel y raised to the power 4, y raised to the power 3. Checking the numerator side, we have 2 multiplying x multiplying y cubed. So we have 2xy cubed. The denominator has nothing there. So the answer here will be 2xy cubed. Let's transport it. So positive 2xy cubed. Checking from the question, there is no common factor for the terms inside the bracket. So we can conclude that x squared y into bracket 5 plus 2xy cubed is our final answer. Please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon to be notified anytime we upload new videos. I hope you understood and enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like and share this video. Thank you and God bless you all.